What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. In case you didn't know, Snoop Dogg has never left. For someone who is close to 25 years into making rap music, Snoop Dogg is someone who has remained very consistent. You look at who was making music back in like the early 90s, and a lot of those people aren't making music anymore. There's like, maybe you can probably count on your hands how many of them were making music back then and still making music today. A lot of them either faded out or transitioned into acting or, other different business ventures. Not to mention that Snoop Dogg's been able to reinvent himself several times throughout his career. And anytime that you have a rapper who's known for something, kind of switch it up, it's a lot of times you're going to have a lot of people that don't like it. But it seems like Snoop Dogg's transitions over the years have all been like warmly accepted. His latest album, Neva Left, is a testament to all the different sides of the Doggfather. Now let me talk about my favorite song, starting off with Back in the DAYZ, featuring Big Trey D. You could take Snoop Dogg out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of Snoop Dogg. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. This was the song that I've been talking about in every Snoop Dogg video since he announced this album. This was the one that he previewed on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, this is the one. This is going to be a banger, one of the best songs on the album, and it did not disappoint. I also have to do a quick shout out to J Massive, who produced the song. He actually commented on my Snoop Dogg track listing discussion video, and so I just shout him out. This beat is cold. It really represents like that vintage Snoop Dogg. When he raps on this caliber with this subject matter, it's easy to forget that like Snoop Dogg is in his 40s and he's been so far removed from that lifestyle for many years. But that is like something that Snoop has always been able to do. He's able to transport himself into that mentality, that environment, that that style of music. It's something that you have to appreciate, because a lot of people, they get to a point where they're just like, they're rehashing the same things and it sounds boring, but Snoop manages to make it sound fresh almost every time. He's just really nice with his words, and he's always had like this convincing voice. Like, that's the thing that I'm listening to this album and noticing is like Snoop Dogg's voice hasn't changed that much over the years. I also have to say that I was digging the Q-Tip sample from A Tribe Called Quest's Check the Rhyme. Like, that was a nice little touch. And then having Big Trey D do his speech at the end. Like, I was waiting, I was listening to the song, I'm like, okay, is he gonna rap? I haven't heard Big Trey D rap in years, but no, he just comes in at the end, does a little speech, and it really ends the song on a nice note. The other song on my favorites list is Vapors, the DJ BATTLECAT remix featuring Charlie Wilson and Tina Marie. This is a record that is actually old. I thought this was like a new remix or something, but no. It was actually an old song that was remixed around the time of the Doggfather. And honestly, comparing the remix to the original, you pretty much have like a R. Kelly Ignition situation. Where R. Kelly's Ignition is clearly the superior, like the remix is clearly superior to the original. That's exactly what you get with Vapors. Surprisingly though, this is actually a remake of Biz Marquis's Vapors from 1988. Snoop Dogg was really good at taking these songs that were older, like Slick Rick, and making that into Lottie Dottie. But he did that for this Biz Marquis song and flipped it into his own version and everything, and I like that. It really showed like the excellent storytelling that Snoop Dogg has. On Vapors, you have him rapping the stories of how people were treating Nate Dogg and Warren G and Daz Dillinger, etc. Like all these different rappers who were popping at the time. How they were treated differently when they were broke, but all of a sudden they got all this love from everybody. Honestly though, this record feels like a random inclusion. I'm wondering what made him feel like he had to dig up this remix and toss it on the album. I know DJ BattleCat produced several songs on the album, so was it like his idea? Was he like, yo, you should put this on here? I don't know, but I am welcoming it because it did end up being one of my favorites on the album. And not to mention that all the qualities of the song on YouTube were really low. Like, they were nothing compared to what you get on Neva Left. I have two honorable mentions. First is the title track. This is the one that opens the album, and yeah, when you listen to it, you'll be like, this one was crazy. The other one is Go On featuring October London. Now, what I'm getting from this song is sort of like whenever you have Snoop Dogg and Pharrell team up. Like, October London's hook, if it wasn't sung by him, I could see Pharrell doing it. So I liked it because it gave me that vibe and just like a nice, warm, summertime record. While this album is really good, there are some songs on here that I would put in my least favorites category. Trash Bags featuring K-Camp. Trash Bags Full of Cash, Count That is not exactly the type of hook that I would expect Snoop Dogg to have anywhere near his album. In many ways, it sounds like it started out as a K-Camp record, and Snoop Dogg was like, yo, this sounds hot, let me do this, let me take this, put it on my album, because it really doesn't feel like something Snoop Dogg would come up with on his own. I feel like Snoop Dogg having this song on his album is a big mistake. When you look at it and listen to it, you're like, this doesn't sound like the seasoned vet that Snoop Dogg is. This sounds more like a rookie trying to make a strip club anthem. So that's why I relate it more to a K-Camp record, because it does sound like something that K-Camp would do on his own projects. But nonetheless, I just was not feeling this song. I get it, it's catchy, and some people might disagree with my opinion, but I just don't feel it. The other record that I wasn't too big on was I'm Still Here. So DJ BATTLECAT is all over the album. He's producing on several of the songs, and it's really memorable. Some of his beats are the best parts of the album. So the beat is the highlight of I'm Still Here. Unfortunately, I don't like what Snoop Dogg did with it. You can argue that this song represents the title, Neva Left, but I also just don't feel like it was a necessary record to include. After listening to it several times, I feel like this is like a spillover from Kool-Aid. Like, it really sounds like one of those songs that he would have made during the Kool-Aid sessions and then held back. Because that album was about reminding you that he's a legend and he's still here. But with Neva Left, you don't really have too many of those moments. Like the last two tracks, I'm Still Here and Love Around the World, those two are kind of like records that I feel would have been on Kool-Aid. But I like Love Around the World. That one was solid. But I'm Still Here, besides the beat, I'm not digging it. Neva Left is easily a better album than Kool-Aid, and that is pretty much all that I wanted. Snoop Dogg is making the best possible music that he can at this point in his career, versus reminding us for 15 plus songs that he's a legend and he's done this and that. Like, we know that. While I don't love every side of Snoop, Neva Left had enough that I was more than satisfied in the end. So those are my thoughts on Snoop Dogg's Neva Left. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, and then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter @SermonsDomain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.